Hello everyone, my name is Anastasia, I'm from China and this is a channel about cross stitch. First of all, I want to thank everyone for your support. I never imagined that so many people would really want to watch me and would express their feelings and their support about my cross stitch. Um, since my last video, I reached 200 subscribers, and this is a very big milestone for me because um, I've been posting on Instagram for about a year, and I have only 400 subscribers there, and just 2 months making videos already. Like, I found 200 people who really want to watch me and who comment on my videos, and that is just so overwhelming and amazing. So thank you everyone who spends their time with me and who gets their time to comment on my videos. That's every time I wake up and I open the app and I see a new comment and there is something like people saying some very heartwarming words about my cross stitch. It really makes my day. It really makes my day, and the whole day I will be going with a smile and everything would be wonderful, just because in the morning I would receive such wonderful words. So thank you everyone. So a little quick life update before we go into cross stitch. So since I'm doing videos every 2 weeks, so I think all of you are new here, so just to make it clear, I'm making videos every 2 weeks, like in the end of the month and in the middle of the month. So since the last video, they were 2 weeks and they were very busy for me. First of all, there was a second wave of virus in China, and it's not a very real second wave, like the virus didn't mutate and something like that, but there was some virus infected fish in one of the fish markets here, and I think it was found that it was affected only like in a day or two, since it was brought and distributed around the Beijing. And I think it was like very expensive fish market or something like that, so very big restaurants actually bought fish there, and that's why I think right now it was stated that around 400,000 people in Beijing were tested, and they found only 200 positive cases. So everyone who was around the fish market area or who was connected to that, they raised the level of efficiency from like green to red in one day, and they shut down the whole areas in Beijing. So that was very quick, and the measures were done, and I mean, it is good. Even if they closed up all the stuff again in those areas, it was still very good. And thankfully saying, I'm not near close to any of those areas, and my friends live far away from there too. So basically it's like most of the south of Beijing is closed, or the level of awareness is raised right now, but I'm living like west-south, so I'm not in that area anyway. So speaking about the virus, it didn't affect my life that much, but it affected my work again, because it was just like in a day or two my kindergarten was about to reopen, and now they stated they can't reopen and everything will be shut again till maybe August or September. I'm like, what? So I'm still doing my part-time, but my official work is still closed. So another big update on my life is that I moved. I'm in a new location because I can't film next to my blue sofa anymore, and I moved in a really small kind of apartment because right now I'm living alone, and maybe for the first time in my life I'm actually living on my own, like without support of like family or friends or anything. Like I'm actually having to deal and solve problems on my own, everything. And it's not that hard that it seemed to be at first. Like at first I was like a little bit depressed and everything, but right now I'm actually enjoying my life. And even this even this side when I can't film in my usual spot, so probably you hear some strange noises, or the acoustics here is very bad. But I'm filming on a rooftop right now. I will put in a picture here how it looks like, and it's actually like right in front of the kindergarten, and you can see the playground down there. So I'm outside, and that's why you can hear all the strange noises and occasional wind and stuff like that. So I'm very sorry for that, but unless I find a better spot for filming, I think I will stick to this spot. So that was all my life update so fast. And let's go to stitching. So in these 2 weeks, I think I was really looking for comfort and for like solving my problems, my inner problems through stitching. So I really overdid myself, and I have 3 finishes. 2 of them are relatively small, but still, and it's like, with these 3 finishes, it will be like 5 finishes this month. My head is blowing out. Like even last year when I was stitching a lot, like every day I was purely stitching every single day, like 500 stitches at least. I didn't have two finishes a month maximum, maybe even 1. But right now I'm doing like only 300 stitches a day, and it really saves me that I have lunchtime stitching because I take some of the projects right now to work, and I'm stitching during the lunch only, like an hour and a half while the kids are sleeping, and it really helps me like the progress, I see the things done. So let's go to finishes. And first of all, I have everything in front of me. So first of all, I have finished my fall wreath. Let's do it here. It's a fall wreath by Fruzilok. I don't know, it's very early in the morning. By the way, today is I guess 28th, 29th. Today's Sunday. Let me see. Today is 28th of June. So in 2 days the June will be over. And today's Sunday, and it's only like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm filming it very early in the day, but I will be uploading it during the night because the internet connection will be unstable during the day. So sorry about that again. The finish, my fall wreath. So I fully backstitched it. I think last time I had only like most of the half backstitched, and now I backstitched the upper half and the white backstitch on the beetle. I think I didn't have a backstitch on the beetle last time, so I did it this time. This is my backside. It's so messy, and with backstitch you see it's but I still have to FFO it, because you see there is hole here and 3 holes down here. So it has actually these little leaves, wooden leaves. They're all different, hanging through here, and it has this rope to tie it, and it actually has the backing felt, the exact cut out to the frame, but I'm not really in the mood to FFO anything right now because I'm still in the process of unpacking stuff, and my apartment right now is such a mess. I just have piles of things everywhere. So right now I'm in the process of sorting through my stuff, to putting it away, and I just don't have the area where I can just sit and calmly FFO things, glue, sew, anything. So right now I'm just stitching and cleaning and sorting. So maybe in a month or two I will show you how it will look like all assembled, but right now it's just a stitching, but it's enjoyable. It is a very nice stitch. It wasn't quick by any means. I think there are around 40 colors here, including blends, and I think there are like 10 or 12 blends here in those 40 colors. So a big proportion of the colors are blends. They are quite enjoyable. The blends here are between the brown and greens, between the yellows and oranges. So it's very interesting. It's not like very into shading, but it gives an interesting perspective. It gives an interesting like shades of yellows and oranges here or at the end of the leaves. So these blends are quite enjoyable actually. What I noticed when I was stitching and back stitching is that when you stitch on a wood, because it's wood and I think it's like a couple of millimeters thick, it eats your floss way faster than any fabric. So fast. Like I would have a usual length of thread from my tip of my fingers to my elbow, and it will be last only to 20 stitches, 22 stitches, not much. So I used to use very long threads. Maybe I would go up to 40 stitches, but I will have to change the threads very frequently. So another thing is that I had some questions in the comments about the coverage, and I used just 2 threads, and the coverage was fine, but in these dark areas you can still see through the wood. But when I started back stitching, and when I was stitching, I had this idea, maybe I should stitch them in 3 threads instead of the 2, because it's wood, the coverage will be better, it will not be see-through. But when I started back stitching, this is when I realized this is how important to stitch in 2 threads, because the back stitch goes in the same holes, and sometimes the back stitch, there are like 3 threads of back stitch that goes in one hole. So if there would be 3 threads in a cross, they would just not fit. And I was backstitching very leisurely, pleasantly, like the needle didn't stick, I didn't have to like take it out by force or anything like that. So I think this is why it was possible, because the coverage. But of course I'm not 100% happy about the coverage in the beetle and the sunflowers, but the rest is fine. Like they are very nice and bright colors. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's actually so bright. I tried to take a picture of it in the grass, and if I took a picture under the sun, it would be like so yellow. If I would take a picture in the flowers, it will be like so blending in, because it's just so colorful. It's just too colorful. And I will try to post on my Instagram another picture I have of it in the grass, because around the green it looks so much better. But in real life it looks amazing. No pictures will do it justice. It just looks amazing. And as soon as I FFO it, fully finish it, I will put it on my wall, and it will be just an eye candy to look at it every day. And it smells good. Yeah, the wood, like the actual piece of wood. So yeah, I love this smell. So this was my first finish, and sorry for the noise. My second finish was so small, but nevertheless it was enjoyable. So let me try like this. So this is a onigiri dragon. I think the name of the designer is Sophico in Instagram. So I will try to link all the Instagram groups in the description box. So I will name all the projects and try to link all the groups or Instagram pages, because I'm not on Facebook. I have a page on Facebook, but I don't take part in most of the groups. So this is by Sophico, and this is a dragon with onigiri, and this was model stitching, so I didn't change much. I would say the thing that I changed is that his eyes should be stitched in green, and I just used black because like only eyes would be stitched in dark green and all the rest is like black. So I was like, it doesn't really look good, it doesn't brighten up his eyes, and I was just lazy to go and pick out this thread. So I just used the black. And what else? I added this white frame around the whole dragon, because the dragon itself is backstitched in black around it, and it looks very good, but on a light fabric. But on this dark fabric, all the backstitch around his wings or around his head and on onigiri itself are a little bit lost. So I decided to show it better, so it will stand out from my fabric and not get lost. Because yeah, I understand I chose not the perfect fabric for the model stitch, like because this fabric has the character of itself. I mean, just look at the modeling, it is so beautiful. It was a 32 count linen before dyeing, but after it, I don't know, it just shrank a lot. So maybe like, I don't think it's 36, but is there a 34 count? So maybe it shrank like a size. But still, it's very enjoyable. The stitches were so small, like you can see my hand, and this is how small it is. So, and backstitching was very quick. I think I did the backstitch in under an hour, because it was super small here, and I love backstitching, so it's enjoyable. But there are 41 French knots here. French knots in his wing, in his leg, in his tail, in his body, on his head. 41 French knots. That took me 2 days. Not like 2 days of straight stitching, but maybe like an hour and a half one day and about 2 hours next day. So yeah, French knots are maybe not my favorite. I can do them, but since it's so petite, I didn't want to use thick thread, so I used a very tiny thin sewing thread for the French knots, because I just wanted them to have an accent, but to not steal all the attention from the shades and colors, because I just love how it looks. I love the shades in his wing, like it really gives this orange shade, and here and then his belly. Oh, it is cartoonish. I understand that lots of the things I stitch are cartoonish, but it's kind of so cute and a little bit alive, like what you can see in movies or anime movies or cartoons. Yeah, so this is a very pleasant and enjoyable stitch, and I'm just happy I finished it. And this will be also a finish in the sale of Dragons and Dolls owls that I'm taking part among Russian stitchers. So yay! Happy finishes! So another one, the third finish, is my little rabbit, little white fluffy rabbit by Cute Patterns by Maria. So unexpectedly, it was very fast. Like, I think I only spent 2 days and I finished the cup and the backstitch. Because as you can see, last time I showed it, I had the whole rabbit done, and this time I just finished the cup and the backstitched it. And unlike others patterns by Maria, this pattern is a very easy backstitch. Maybe because I a little bit changed it, like it asks for 6 colors of backstitch, and I think I only did black. I only did black in 1 thread and black in 2 threads. One strand of floss and 2 strands of floss, whatever. So this was cute, this was fast. Again, I didn't want to use the brownish white or gray backstitch because it will get lost on my fabric. I understand that this fabric is not so dark as that purple, but it still will get lost. So I wanted it to stand out, so I used only black, and I think it looks good. There are a certain number of colors and blends here. I wouldn't say they are unreasonable, but maybe on my big counts, this is, by the way, 28 count, even width. So you don't see them that much. Maybe if it would be smaller, you would actually see the shading in his ears and in the cup more. But right now, when I see, like, from a distance, you can actually see something. But when you close up, mostly it's just like white, and the cup, it looks a little bit different, but you can't really see all the shades. So I can't. I don't know if you can, but I can't. So this was my 3rd finish. It was a very quick stitch, and this is -1 pattern from my stash of patterns. So I'm really happy since I'm taking part in Stitch from Stash this year. It's not the one from the Facebook group, it's the one that Russian blogger is organizing. And the rules of Stitch from Stash is that you have to stitch patterns from your stash and not buy anything else. So most of the things I am stitching this year are freebies, which I don't have to buy, or things I already own and bought like decades ago. Not like decades, like I'm stitching actively mostly like 3 years, 4 years, 3.5 years maybe. So that's why all the patterns that I bought during those times. So, and this pattern was from the stash. So I'm happy that this month I can do -1 to the patterns, -1 to the kits with the wreath, and that makes me happy that I'm steadily decreasing my stash. So that's why I think I will make some plans to decrease it more next month, because I was stitching lots of freebies lately, and I really need to go back to my original plan and to decrease the stash, that by the December I can buy a lot more and I will have time and ability to stitch new designs, because I really want to keep with that one. During the years, my stash grew so much due to Flosstube, due to Instagram, due to all the different cells and groups I joined. So I really need to work on it and decrease, even in small things, Every little stitch helps. So this is the White Rabbit. I think the name actually is like Fluffy Wonder. It's not like the White Rabbit, but Fluffy Wonder, I think, because she has another White Rabbit, Alice and the White Rabbit, and there is a White Rabbit with clock, but mine just a cup. But it's still so cute, right? And I love the amazing fabric, which I dyed, and I still have most of it. so probably I will cut it off and just have the another half for something else. I don't know yet what will be on it because this side is more yellowish green, this side is more blue and purple, so I'm not sure I like this side that much, but it's still very nice. I mean, just compare the two things. This side is my favorite, that's why I stitched it first. I'm not sure what I will put here, but still, something will come up, right? Eventually, there are so many things to cross stitch that something will eventually come up. So this was all my finishes, but it's not the only things I stitched. Sorry. Water break. Yeah. So one more thing that I stitched, just a little, just to put some love in this project. Originally I was stitching it in a cell dedicated to flowers, so I choose this pattern. It's Miroshka. Summertime. There are like canaries and poppies and a couple of ladybugs. So, but I think I'm not gonna finish it by the end of the cell. Cell ends the first days of July, and I think this project will be on freeze for a little bit, at least till the Jolly July. But I will talk about it in my plans. So anyway, this 2 weeks I stitched this a little. I believe I put around 600 stitches in it. So you can see a lot of additional growth, but I actually stitched this part of the poppy, a little bit of greens, and a little bit of gray here. So that's what grew this week. And I'm using Cross Stitch Saga for this, so it actually says it's an app for phones or tablets or iPads, anything, and it actually says how many stitches I stitched. So this is how I actually stitch most of my patterns, just so I will keep an eye on how many stitches I do weekly, I think, or like per session of stitching. Usually in the evenings I can do like 300 maybe, because of the things I need to do, and I have to still cook my dinner and stuff, so I don't really have that much time for stitching. And during the day, maybe 100, 150. So, but it still grows a lot. I mean, over a little stitch counts, right? So only 600, but it's still a growth, so I really like it. And this poppy is kind of almost done, because you can see there is only like this poppy box, seed box. I'm not sure. If you know how it's called, please tell me. I'm not really good in the botanical names of things, so if you know how it's called, tell me. So there is only poppy box and maybe another color of red, and that's it. I mean, this poppy will be done. There is still some black in the middle, but there is little black. I mean, there's like maybe 10 stitches here, and it goes up here to the ladybug, and here and to this box. So maybe I will wait till I finish most of the picture to fill in the little spots here and like little hole here, just because I'm stitching it on a small hoop. So every time I stitch one area, like I choose this area, so I stitched it, and it's easy for me to just choose one color with a lot of stitches, like maybe 100 or 200 stitches in this area, which I can easily finish and don't need to move my hoop, because if I jump too much, I'm just losing time, not much enjoyable, and just stitching one area gives me more joy and concentration, lets me do it mindlessly, less thinking. So Yeah, and I'm really happy how it turns out. Like, it really looks so beautiful. Um, uh, the fact that I bought this kit because uh, I wanted to make a present for my best friend, and she's a newbie cross stitcher, so I bought her one of the Miroshka's uh, kits, and no pattern or kit can travel alone, so like I can buy myself something relatively small so I can stitch it too. And I bought this one just on a whim, like, because I needed to choose something else. So it wasn't like something that I originally fall in love with, but I am falling in love with it every time I stitch. And I think a lot of this love and a lot of the pleasure is the fabric I chose. It's 14 count Ada. No, 16 count Ada. I'm sorry, 16 count hand dyed Ada. It looks like sky, and that's why I chose it, because I am not really sure I want this brown. Like, I have this Ada in the kit. It's 16 count brown Ada, but I'm not sure I have it on brown. So when I found this in my stash, I was like, yeah, that's perfect. It's very soft, like really soft. That's why I need a really good tension on it, but it's still Ada, so it's quite easy and pleasant. So that was my first whip. My second whip was I think the name of the pattern is Halloween Girl, something like that. So on Instagram I saw stitchers making a new SAL in the supporting of the movements that Black Lives Matter. So the hashtags for this SAL are very long. Something about diversity and inclusion and something like that. Every time I need to put hashtags on my Instagram post, I just open up my notes and fill them in because they are very long. But the point of this SAL is, I think it was started by Risa Stitch and Michelle Bendy and Stitching in Sequence and like other big bloggers. So the point of this SAL is to start a pattern with a colored lady, colored person of color, or change the skin color of maybe Mirabilia or any person you are stitching right now into black, dark, or maybe Indian, Hispanical, like any colored skin. So, and I really like the idea, but I'm not really stitching Mirabilias at the moment. Like, I want to, I have these plans sometime in the future, but right now I don't have any whips with people on it. Most of my stitches have like rabbits and flowers, and I don't think that converting white rabbit into black rabbit really counts. So I really wanted to find something I can stitch, which was still that was my character, so still what I really enjoyed stitching. I mean, maybe something cartoonish. So, and I think my pile of freebies I collected during the years, I had this beautiful Halloween lady, and the designer is Anna Klautova. I'm sorry if I misspell the name, but I believe she doesn't sell her patterns, but she is designing her own patterns and she's stitching them herself. She is really into anime and anime patterns, and I mean, this is her stuff is really cool. I I don't know how it goes well with the usual cross stitch, because some of her designs have nude scenes or provocative, but they are really beautiful, and how she makes it is so beautiful too. So, and this is a freebie, so I just asked her and she sent me the pattern, and she has a file for Saga, cross stitch Saga, for my phone. So that was very wonderful, and I had a wonderful chat with her. She said she never stitched this pattern, so it's kind of a modal stitching, but it's not officially modal stitching. I'm just maybe the first one who is stitching it, but I'm not trying to follow the pattern so strictly, because it's so just for fun, you know. I don't want that many modal stitching when I have to like follow the pattern, be very careful. Like it still makes this boundaries for my imagination, and I didn't want that. So this is, I believe, the 32 count Murano. I don't know the color, but it's beautiful. It's like this steel blue, or like some stormy blue, something like that. It's very beautiful, but recently I noticed I don't like 32 color, 32 count, I'm sorry, 32 count. Because when you stitch on 32 with 2 threads with the Chinese CXC that I'm using, it's too bulky. It's either should be like 28 to look nice, or it could be 36 but in 1 thread. So on 32 it looks very bulky, and I just wanted to enjoy this, so I started it with 1 thread over 2, but it has a lot of blends. Like I just finished her skin, like her neck, her shoulder, her ear. This is like part of her skin around her eye, which we can see through the mask, and this is like the hair, the skin before her hair and her nose here. So this is all skin is finished. This will be her mask here, which will be white, her purple hair, the eye will be like red, and just her outfit, orange outfit with quite a big chest area, and some pumpkins here. So I decided for the south, since I just started it, I will concentrate on the skin, and I just love it. The skin colors here are 434, 435, 436, and 437, I believe. So if you ever need a good conversion for any mirrors or something, these are the best colors. They are bright and vibrant and very good. So, and the way she designed the pattern is that you can actually see her neck and her ear and everything, like even without backstage. Like, yeah, I just started it, so it's not much staged, but you can actually see that. So you still see the line of her shoulder that goes to her neck, like this line. So that is amazing. And right now I am onto the white in her outfit. So I stopped here, and this was very enjoyable. This was very enjoyable, and I think I will just keep it for stitching Halloween 13, like stitching Halloween on the 13th of every month. So like this, I will still touch her every month. It doesn't, and it won't depend on what I'm actually stitching, like Christmas, or what's the theme, or if I'm doing anything else. I think I will be able to finish her by the end of September or October. Because of course I'm doing dark October stitching and lots of Halloween designs in October, but for right now I'm still happy with how it looks, and the fabric, ooh, just amazing. And because yesterday I was like, did I stitch anything this 2 weeks? I don't think I have anything to show at all. So I decided to pick up my oldest whip right now and just do a little bit progress on it, so I will have something to show you. Yeah, nothing else. So I picked up my Storytime Classics sampler by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It was originally a sale a couple of years ago, I believe. And I was inspired by Stitching Mommy, who was doing it as a travel project every month, a frame. And I wanted to do the same thing, but I couldn't relate to all the books in the stories. Like, of course I read Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland, but I never read, like, by that moment I never read like Secret Garden or Amy and Green Gables or stuff like that. And for us, the Christmas story wouldn't be the Christmas Carol. We have some other, for Russians, we have some other really good Christmas and New Year children books. So I couldn't really relate that they were my favorite, so I recharted some of them and I'm filling in some of the frames still. I still have some stitches left on the banner, which I need to stitch and fill in the words with darker color. But right now I am focusing on the frames, and for me they are just like little mirrors into the story. So I'm doing every frame full coverage, which gives me a lot of stitching to do actually. Let's see, maybe 1500 stitches in each little frame, without counting the little symbol. So this was Winnie the Pooh, which was easy. This was Pippi Longstocking, and the one I finished yesterday because, you know, I didn't do much, so I had to stitch something else, is Redwall by Brian Jacques. I'm sorry if I mispronounce. In Russian we would say Jacques, but I'm not sure how it actually is. I will put his name down below. So this was a very this is a series of books that I read when I was very little, and I was really into it. It's about like mice, squirrels, rabbits, like lots of furry animals defending and living in an abbey. Like the abbey is called Redwall because the walls of the abbey are red, and lots of like other animals, like snakes and vermins and foxes and wolves are attacking them, and there are always like a little good twist in the plot where you have to like open up a secret, or there was some prophecy or something else that can save them. So it's not only about war and battles, it's a lot about love and friendship and supporting each other. So I really love this book, and I think I have at least 8 of the books in the series, and there are more. And there is even a cartoon series, like I think they have 3 seasons of different episodes. So at some point I was saying that if I ever have a baby, I will call him Matthias or Mattimeo, because the main character of the first book is Matthias and his son was Mattimeo, because I really love them. And how I charted them is that I think I took this squirrel from another Frosted Pumpkin design. I think it was like something about happy birthday. The rose was originally in this pattern, So I added a little sword. I think I just recharted the background by myself, like I added the Abbey. Um, I'm not sure how it actually looks, like I saw the movie so long ago, but I remember it should be like a red wall and a um, big doors, and there is water around it, and like there is a bridge which can go up. I added a little strings which should be like chains that can pull the bridge up, and they're actually fighting, so the little squirrel. Sorry, the words are hard. It's so early in the morning. So the little squirrel is holding a sword. I don't know how well you can see it, but he's actually holding a sword, and the wolf is holding a spear. So they're kind of fighting on the road to the abbey and the forest backwards, because a lot of the movie and a lot of the books, they go through different locations. They're not only concentrated on the abbey itself, but around like forests and fields, and they're traveling a lot. So lots of my games when I was little were surrounded like by the theme that I'm traveling somewhere, I have to defend and help someone, I am like a warrior or archer or something like that. So just this was one of the many things that really affected me, and this is what raised me in who I am and my preferences, because I am really into computer games that are fantasy-like, and I'm usually like a warrior type. I'm never a mage or something, but I really like to crush monsters with my hands. So this is what like made me like that. I'm sorry if I explain it very difficult. But so I added another frame to my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Storytime Classic sampler, and I still have some of the frames that are already charted, and some of them I took from other, I was inspired and I just copied from Instagram. Like I know there is a Harry Potter, and there is a Lord of the Rings frame, so at some point I will be stitching them, and they were really just copied from other stitchers, but I don't think it's a bad thing since I'm not really stealing anything. Like I will be copying it, and I will be giving them credit that they inspired me, right? So why not? Like anyone can take my work and copy it or get inspired by it and do something based on it. So I don't know if we will see some light in July, but for now I'm really happy that it's really moving a little by little, like at least a frame in a month or two, 3 months a frame. So because it's been in the phrase for so long. I think I started it in 2018, so it's 2 years by now, and since I finished my oldest whip, this is right now my oldest one. So I'm really loving this piece, and I really want it to see light someday framed. So these were all my whips. So let's go to plans, and for plans I already said that I will be doing Jolly July stitching, or Christmas in July, or with Xmas Stitches. She has a hashtag Xmas in July, so I will be following all these hashtags, and I think the whole month I want to concentrate on winter and Christmas stitching and everything connected with snow, because usually I'm not a big winter fan in stitching and a Christmas fan, because it's always whites, grays, blues, and I'm not just a fan of those colors. I like everything bright and vibrant, and yellows and greens are my favorite. So of course in the winter there are not many colors like that. Yeah, so, and when the winter comes and everything starts selling some winter themed patterns, I don't really want to stitch them every winter. I think I'm stitching still Halloween, or I'm already starting something springy, because outside it's all gray and dull and not very enjoyable. So I don't want like to go outside and see this gray winter world because in Beijing it doesn't snow, so there are still lots of green bushes, but it doesn't really snow here. Maybe one day, and last year it was snowing in April. It was snowing in the 10th of April. One day. But like, I'm not really in the mood to go back home and have something gray and white again. Like, I want some boost of color, some boost of inspiration. So that's why, like, actually the idea of stitching something winter in summer really appealed to me, because like this I can stitch these colors and not get affected with the whole winter mood. I can see outside like all these beautiful flowers and go to the park, and everything is blooming right now. Like, the whole Beijing is just so green, so green. So of course, and how I'm gonna do it, like my plan for Christmas in July will be that in July I'm practically doing the same thing as I did in Stitch Sania, but not one project for whole May, but I will be doing like one project per week. So there will be 5 weeks in July, which will give me 5 slots to choose from. And I believe I have around 7, maybe 8 winter projects in my stash right now. 1 week, and others are just stash, but it will give me a boost to start them and maybe even finish some small ones, because I have like a couple of big ones and several small, so I can maybe start on big, small, big, small, big, small, something like that. So the first project which I will be starting, which already ready, and I'm not starting it tomorrow on Monday, like tomorrow and Monday, Tuesday, it's still June, so I think I will be stitching something from my whips right now, but, or maybe I will be just preparing for Jolly July. Like, I still need to pick out the fabrics and floss, and I believe some of them really need a lot of floss, so that will take me some time to find them all. But because right now all my craft stuff is just crammed in a suitcase, in a big suitcase, but it's crammed there. So it will take me some time to just unpack it and see through it and just prepare everything in order, so I will be able to reach it. Yeah. So the first project I will be doing, this is definitely, like, I have 5 weeks, 5 slots, but one is already occupied. So the definitely thing I'm doing is winter sheep based on the artwork of John Clayton, and the company is Heritage Stitchcraft, I believe. I bought this in Thailand this year. Yeah, I broke my stitch from stash rule that I don't buy anything, and if I buy anything I don't stitch it this year. But when I visited Thailand in February, and it was safe in that moment. When it started to get worse, we returned to China. So at that moment it was safe, and I was was out of stitching. I finished all my projects that I took with me, or some of them I didn't finish, but I didn't have floss for them. So I just was running through the Bangkok and looking for something so I can buy, stitch, order anything. And I lived in Bangkok 2 years. I think in 2015 and 2016, but I never found a cross stitch shop. And then I just randomly, I stumbled upon a cross stitch shop, and they had something really good. Like they had Clayton circles, like maybe 10 or 15 of them. So I was like, yeah, that's not only like that I can buy and stitch right now, but it's also like something really meaningful for me, and it will symbolize Thailand. Yeah, the winter will symbolize Thailand. Why not? But my life there, right? So at least I will have some cross stitch, maybe from every part of the world, every country of the world I lived in. I don't know, but maybe someday, maybe I'll return to those countries and buy something there again. But I started it in February, and I think I was also stitching it in March, so I reached 50% of it. And yeah, like originally 50% will be here, but I stitched this part and there is a lot of snow of this here, so I will close it because there are lots of floss which I was parking. So kind of like 50%. So, and from far away it's amazing. From close by it's not so amazing. So it is a 14 count Aida, and I just started and stitched it like it was in a kit. So I didn't change anything, the floss, the fabrics, even the needle, I believe it was with the kit, so I just put it there. I was parking because at first I started just randomly stitching colors, but then I saw like how well it looks if I stitch in the rows. Like it just looks nice to have a 50% of that, not just like burst of colors. So my goal for February or March, something like that, it was 50%. So I reached it, and I don't know what goal to set for myself for Jolly July, because it's gonna have some love for 1 week only, and it will depend on how much work I will have and how busy I will be with unpacking and preparing for other stuff, and I just don't know. It may have just 1,000 stitches in, it may have 3,000 stitches in, because I really want to concentrate on it and just put as much love as I can. But I don't believe I can finish it all. So let's just see and not set any goals on it, just as much as I can. And usually I notice that when I don't set specific goals on something, this is when I'll work the hardest, because there is no limits. There is not like, oh, you have to stitch 50% and then stop, or you have to definitely reach 50%, and then I'll be like stitching and like sometimes hating it, like, oh, I'm so tired, but I need to finish it or something like that. Like I really like it, and just stitching it. So this will be my first, and then I have this book, which I got from a friend as a gift, and like we just which I got from a friend, and this is the design on the cover that I really want to stitch, but again it's very big, so no goals, just maybe start it and put as much love as I can. So among other projects I have, this is a maybe. Like I will show you 5 or 6 maybes, and I will be choosing from one of them. So among other things, I have this fox from Russian designers. I already stitched the raccoon in the sweater with the cup, and I stitched a rabbit with the sweater in the cup, and now I have this fox in the sweater with the cup, and I don't know if I should start it because it's relatively small, and I think I can finish it in just 1 week, or should I leave it till next year, because this year I already stitched raccoon, and I'm not really a serious teacher, so I don't know if or maybe I should wait for some fox sow, because it's maybe the only fox I have in my stash. So I'm not sure about that, but I have this fox. Next one is the little funny boar in the snow by one of my favorite designers, Victoria Jacques, and I just love it, and it's so small. I mean, this will be like super small, and I think I can definitely stitch it under a week, and maybe I will have some time for my dark 13 stitching, or like just put some more love into Heritage, I don't know, but in some bigger ones. But this is definitely one of the maybes. One more maybe is owl bear. Like, I already stitched owl deer a couple of days ago, and now it's owl bear up there, so I think I will be stitching either owl bear or the little dragon, one of them, because as I said, I'm taking part in this sow between dragons and owls, dragons versus owls, so I don't know if I should come back to dragons or owls, but one of them is definitely a yes. And another one is, oh, this one I love the most. It's Merry Christmas by Nadezhda Nagornaya, but it's a big one, and just looking at it, it really intimidates me. I never stitched her designs before, but I know that she is quite a big fan of blends and very difficult backstitch and quarter stitches, and just looking at it and looking at the present area, the area of presents and the doggies, a lot of color changes, a lot of thread changes. So this one of the big plans I have. So as I said, let me do it this way. Christmas, Santa, the fox, owl bear, the dragon, Merry Christmas with doggies, the piggy. So, and the 6 projects that I have in my stash. So would you kindly help me? Would you help me to choose from? So I think I will wait a week and I will see if anyone will vote for any of those projects, and I will just choose whatever you will actually tell me to stitch. So these are my plans for Jolly July, and I think this will be it. So if you liked my projects, if you liked the video, just give me a like. It really helps me to see that I'm not doing it in vain. That people really feel the same urge as me, and that my crazy, sometimes very crazy taste in colors and patterns is not so crazy, that other people really feel it too. And then subscribe if you're new, and leave me a comment on what should I stitch in July. And happy stitching to you all. Bye bye.